How to work with the presentation mockup kit volume 2. So I just wanted to make a quick video to show you how to work with this design asset and hopefully get the best out of it. If you purchased this, thank you so much for your support, and yeah, let's dive straight into working with it. So once you've downloaded it, you'll obviously get this zip file, and once you open the zip file, there'll be two folders, one with JPEG previews, so that's all the scenes just in JPEG so that you can look at them quickly if you need to, and the PSD files. I've also given you the scene guide so that you can peruse through the whole list of scenes quickly. I'm going to open that now quickly. So here is the scene guide. As you can see, there are 17 scenes in the kit, and this will help you choose which one will best suit your artwork and help you navigate the assets. Another way to do that is Adobe Bridge. I think it's an overlooked program by a lot of designers. I know I overlooked it for a long time. I can't remember what got me onto it, but it's really actually an awesome program for navigating your design assets and quickly seeing what you have and what's available. The nice thing about Bridge as well is you can just open files straight into their corresponding program from here. Yeah, if you don't love Bridge, you can use the scene guide that I created, but give it a go. Let's jump straight into one of the files. So I'm going to go into an unloaded file here. Obviously, I think the first thing that we need to cover is working with the smart objects. If you already know how to work with smart objects, you can skip this part. So you can choose any of the tiles in the scene, and then to load your artwork onto that tile, let's just pick a random one. Let's go for number 6 over here. You just double click on that corresponding smart object and go File, Place. You can choose linked or embedded, and then place the artwork. Click Good, and then hit Control S or Command S on Mac, or you can go File, Save, and then the artwork will be updated on the main scene. Let's go to number 8 and plonk something over there. File, Place, Linked, and choose that one. I like that tile. Go ahead and push Control S, and you get the picture. Whatever you do in the smart object updates on the main scene. It's an awesome way to work because it's non-destructive and it saves you all the time of manipulating, stretching, and suiting your artworks to the scene. Whatever you do on the tile happens to the main scene. So you can also go and make adjustments there if you wanted to, or you can do, let's just make a new layer here and do something silly. Let's grab the paintbrush and let's just draw something and go hit Control S, and voila, it's updated on the main scene. Okay, I'm going to hop onto one of the scenes that already has all of the tiles loaded. Okay, so the next thing that I'm going to talk about is the lighting. So I've added some pre-baked lighting setup that you'll find on the top layer here, and you can turn it on or off, and inside there you can actually go and turn the highlights or the shadows on and off. I don't always love what it does to the smart objects. For instance, like if you put that off now, you can see the smart objects are much darker, and therefore I'll use the design swear word, but they definitely pop a little bit more. And when I put that on, it feels a little bit more washed out, which sometimes is something that you want to achieve. But sometimes I don't want that, but I do want what it does to the background. So then I'll take that layer and just drag it below the tiles. And then you can see it doesn't affect the smart objects, but it does affect the background. Sorry, I was turning the wrong layer on and off there. It's gone. It's put itself inside there. I'm just going to take it. Sometimes Photoshop can do funny things like that. Okay, but it's same idea. Okay, so if I put that on and off, you can see how it affects the background. I'm going to turn all of the tiles off, and then you can get a better idea. Okay, cool. I'm going to take that and put it back at the top for now. And then I'm going to put the tiles on. Let's put the feature one. I think the best thing to talk about next is adjusting the effects. The effects. I don't know why I say effects. Maybe because people shorten it like that. But anyway, let's talk about adjusting the effects. On all of the tiles, you can adjust the drop shadow. And I've also added a bevel and emboss effect. So just to show you what that does, I'm going to zoom in over here. and if I turn it on, you can see it adds some depth or thickness, and it also rounds the corners a little bit, so it makes that tile feel like it has a bit more substance or thickness. Same thing on the grid tiles. Let's put it on, and if we look at it from a little bit further out, you can see that's what it looks like. I actually prefer it without that on for this scene, but you might want to use it, you might want to put it on. The next thing to note is, like any scene that has a feature tile, you can always turn it off just to get the basic grid behind it. I'm going to turn that one off for now, and actually I'm going to leave it on because I just want to show you can also adjust the drop shadows and obviously the bevel and emboss effects. But let's go in here, and you can change the distance. You can bring that shadow further away or closer. I'm going to make that hover a bit further, and let's do the same on the grid tiles. So let's take them a little bit further off the surface, and you can also adjust the intensity. So I'm gonna take the opacity down a little bit to make them a little bit less intense, and I'm gonna do the same on the feature tile. Okay, so that just gives you an idea of what you can do. I'm gonna Control Z that and go back to the way it was. Please feel free to really adjust and play around with the files. You can't really break them, and if you do adjust them too far out of whack, you can always go back to the preserved original in the zip folder. Okay, I'm going to go from there, and I'm going to jump in and talk about the Feels Real background creator. So I created a background creator in Photoshop to help people create backgrounds with lighting, shading, texture, and feeling very quickly. And I saved down a light version of that and embedded it in all of these scenes. So I'm going to open that up now and show you how to work with it. So inside the Feels Real background creator, there are 5 materials. And we've got art canvas, melamine, epoxy coated rough concrete, rough wall paint, and marble. So yeah, let's have a look at them. That's obviously the art canvas. You know what, I'm going to make this white while we look at the materials, just to give you a better feeling of the material. Okay, so there's the art canvas, and if you have a look at that, that's melamine. I also call it eggshell. It looks quite a bit like, the texture looks a bit like eggshell. Epoxy coated concrete, that's pretty cool. It's quite a dramatic effect, quite industrial. Rough wall paint, and then marble, which is obviously a bit more refined. It feels a bit more chic. And yeah, so you can put any of those on. If you have your own materials and textures, you can always take them and drop them into this folder. Just stretch it to fit over the artwork, and then you can use them. The blend mode that I've used here is multiply, but you can test different blend modes and see what works for you. Obviously, it also works very differently depending on whether the background has a light or dark color. Okay, I think I'm going to go back to one of the dark colors. So let's go to this the darkest, and then I'm going to talk about Skywash. So I wanted to find a way to add a really natural gradient to light wash the backgrounds so that the colors aren't flat. And the best way that I could find to do that was to grab some pics of natural skies. I feel like those are the most natural gradients, and I think that it really does a good job of light washing a color with the gradient so that the colors aren't flat. So I'm just going to turn the tiles off, and then I'll turn that on and off to show you what it does. Let's maybe pick another color and have a look at it there. So that's without it on, and that's with the Skywash on. So it just gives it a different sort of light wash, let's call it gradient. The next thing to talk about is the adjustable color. So I've created a main color tile over here, or swatch, where you can double click on that and you can choose any color in the spectrum, and the background will live update. Let's just put the tiles back on, or should I say the grid back on for context. And I'm going to grab the color picker and interesting purple over there. But as you can see, whatever you do there will live update on the background. That's actually quite a cool color. I'm going to leave it there. The backgrounds in these scenes I feel work best with light to dark naturals and neutrals, but you can do anything. You could even go neon green if you want. Let's try that. Let's go boom, and take it right there. So as you can see, it looks pretty wacky. That might be your thing. I don't love it. But yeah, it's completely versatile. You can do anything or choose any color you want. I'm going to go back with that blue. I'm a sucker for blues. And yeah, I have included the Brand X Supply Natural Color Palette. So these are colors that do work well. This is what I call Fresh Snow, which is just an off-white. You've got Twine, which is closer to sort of ecru maybe. Earth Rust, which is a clay type of color. Slate, and Dark Onyx. How do you pronounce that word? Is it onyx or onyx? I don't know. Tell me in the comments if I'm wrong. Well, I gave you both options, but tell me which one is right. Yeah, so you could take your own colors. Say you have some brand colors that you want to work with on these backgrounds, or you have some natural color palettes that you want to work with, and you can just you can create some new swatches. You can put the color in here at the hex code. That'll be the fastest way to do it. And then you can work efficiently within the files as well with your color palettes. Cool, I think that covers everything. Yeah, maybe just to talk about the color coded layers. So if you have a look inside the file, the layers are color coded. So you've got green, which means you can make adjustments on those layers. And then we've got blue, that's where you place anything. So that's for placing the smart objects. And then if you look in here, I've also got a red one, which is locked as well. And it says, can't touch this. So those are the ones you don't want to, you don't really want to mess with those ones, because that could put things out of whack. You'll see that I've locked the lighting layer on top. The reason for that is just because I don't want you to select it by accident when you're working with the file, because it is the uppermost layer. So if you're using the selection tool and you click on it, you might move it or anything like that. That's the only reason for it being locked. But you can also unlock it, and you can also adjust the intensity of it to get different effects. Awesome. So yeah, thank you so much. If you did buy this, I really appreciate the support. I really hope that it works amazingly for you and that it makes your artwork look stunning. If you stumbled upon this video and you actually want to grab this this product, then I'll drop a link for the product for you. And yeah, just create it.